Ooh. Live.
We're live. Oh my gosh. This is unique. Hello, everyone. As you can tell, we are running without Grizz. So we are literally flying by the seats of our pants.
Yes.
Please don't kill us tonight. We're in for a good show tonight. We do have a really good buddy of ours. We have Benoit Ste-Croix, or Ragnor, as everyone in the Edmonton area knows him as. We just know him as the fuzzy, the fuzzy, friendly Norseman, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Who likes to shoot us in the face with his paintball guns, and that is okay.
Whoa. I try not to.
Hey, all's fair in love and war, my friend.
Oh yeah. I try not to.
So, to everyone who is watching us live, thank you very much. First, I'd like to do a shout out to our two sponsors. You saw them at the beginning of our broadcast there, to JTAC and to Armadillo. Definite huge thank you to them for everything they've done for us and for allowing us to be where we're at. If I'm talking too much, you guys take over. Yeah, Ragnar's got the hat on. Our show tonight is basically going to be us having fun discussing, once again, the politics in the industry, because the politics is getting crazy.
Yeah, it's actually getting pretty crazy. I've noticed in the last 3 years, like I started 3 years ago, going on year number 4, that man, the politics, like in between players, teams, fields, is getting really nasty, and it's starting to hurt the sport. Which, from what I see, a lot, where, like, you know, everyone's trying to grab a piece of the pie and they're doing it really aggressively, and man, that's not what the sport's about. Like, we need to start promoting everyone equally, and everyone should just stop it. But you know, it's politics. You know, I've been playing bowling for 17 years, and there's politics in bowling. So.
Unfortunately, politics does seem to be absolutely everywhere, especially this day and age.
Man, well, it's a hot man. I don't know why. I'm like hot, like I'm like a chicken in a rotisserie.
So the big old bush of yours keeping you nice and warm at night.
Yeah. Hey. I gotta do one shout out though. I gotta mention my team, the Devil's Rejects.
Absolutely. Hi to the Devil's Rejects. Always great slinging paint with you guys. Huge shout out to Chase, absolutely, and the rest of them.
That, and also, I don't know if he's watching right now, it's this little man's birthday today, his 13th birthday, so happy birthday, Luca, and I hope you heal fast, and then maybe you can catch the end of our season. I know that you just suffered another knee injury, so speedy recovery to you, my friend.
Hey, happy birthday, Luca.
Happy birthday, Luca.
I know what we should do. We should do a road trip up there, and we'll carry him around on our backs.
Hey, whoa, I'm 35. I'm not 19 anymore. Time out.
No problems, man.
I don't know. Where can we start with the politics? We talk about the field politics first, or the player politics?
I think at this point in time, the biggest politics that everyone's going to be aware of is what went down with Vulcan. And then how that is kind of affecting Tittman, GI, and all the others. My understanding is that the Tittman Challenge, at this point in time, does not have a set date, just because some things are difficult to figure out with Tittman themselves.
Keep going.
You get over there, bud. Jeez, you say the word Vulcan, and all you see is Spartan jump out of his seat and start fucking in the garden. Hi, what's up, Ryan? So yeah, no, I think the dynamic is going to change now, because, you know, you know, with what's going on with NXL and everything and all that, and a lot of players are coming through and saying, hey, what's up, man? We're spending a ton of money on our tournaments and a ton of money on your paint and everything, and then you win these tournaments and you place first, second, and third, and you know you should be getting back a good money, and then you're basically, from what I heard from a lot of players, all you're getting is field fees back, like through your tournament fees, which really sucks. You know, when you're dumping that much money into a sport, and then you know the sponsors that sponsor the tournaments like NXL and everything, where you know Vulcan like seems to be the preferred paint out in the States, and they're barely giving any money back to the players. You know, it kind of deters a lot of players away from playing the sports, and that's where watching this one feed about how, you know, the Div 1 teams and all that, they're like few and far between, but the Falcons doesn't seem to care, and XL doesn't seem to care, because, you know, all the smaller teams, Div 4 and all that, but like there's brand new teams every 10 seconds that are popping up on the circuit. So
yeah, it does seem to be an interesting dynamic down in the States, especially with NXL. I think I've personally seen the pro circuit in the States kind of die and resurrect itself about 2 or 3 times, and every time it's sponsored by one major company, and it doesn't seem to do well. And here out in Western Canada, we don't really see the sponsored events. We don't have any reps that really come out apart from the Tippmann Challenge, and I unfortunately have yet to get to an actual CPPL event, so I don't know if there are you know, sponsor tents out there or not. I would hope there are, because it's such a big event when it is held. But I know down in the States, like if you have one company say, yeah, we'll fork out X amount of money and we'll have a tent there, then boom, they become the main sponsor, and no one else wants to assist with that. So I think that's where a lot of the issue is. There's a lot of basically every company's basically saying, well, it's my shot at the pie, and we don't care if we kill the sport to do it. And especially with GI and Vulcan, we've seen several lawsuits in the last couple of years. The main one was over, I believe it was a random paint color pattern on the shell of a paintball.
And the marble paint color, that was funny.
Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna take 2 of the biggest companies in North America, one taking the other to court for a random splatter pattern on the shell of a paintball.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're in the paintball industry, and there's only so many ways you can make a frickin' shell. There's only so many color patterns.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. So that killed GI's credibility in a lot of people's eyes. And then what killed their credibility here in Canada was that they signed, or they basically made Badlands Paintball. This is nothing against Badlands. This is all against GI. They basically said, yeah, we're going to buy out Key and we're going to buy out Tippmann, or majority shares in Tippmann, and then we're basically going to say, if you want to have these in your store, you have to allow us to be your main supplier for a year or 2 years or however long it was. So that contract is expiring. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of transpires here in Canada. I know down in the States, everyone's up in arms about Vulcan, so they're going to HK, and then it's only a matter of time until something stupid happens with HK, then people are back over at Vulcan. So I think the industry needs to, this is my personal view, get your heads out of your asses and work together to better a sport that unfortunately I view is in its kind of death throes.
Well, man, like Tom from Ripple said it best, is like the industry's been dying in the last 10 years and all that, and he showed graphs where, you know, 2004 and all that was peaked, and then it just died. You know, you may see guys like Ripple Industries, you know, only hold airsoft equipment now. You can get MagFest stuff out of them, but like they're not going to use that. He's not even selling paintball gear anymore, or paintball markers. So, you know, it just shows you where our game and where our sport is going and is heading, and it's starting to get really scary. Yeah, you know, like we were talking off camera, like all our space guns. Space Guns. Man, like making it very unacceptable now. It's crazy. You know, when a CSR goes for $2,500 and that's Canadian, like it's nuts. You know, I got lucky with my Shocker XLX. I got a steal on mine. You know, the market's worth $1,500, and then you know, good thing I know some guys that play here out in Edmonton, where you know, like, hey, I'm selling my hopper, my tank, and the gun for $750. Yeah, why not? I'll buy it right away. And you know, I got a lot of people that gave me some bad grief about it because I said, and I promised that I will never buy a speedball marker. Oh, look what's on the wall.
I think, hands to God, I said I'd never do the same thing.
Yeah, you know, right?
Yeah,
so, you know, Eclipse did the same thing in Canada, too, with Badlands. Yeah, so, you know, it's, man, we're at the breaking point, I think, in the next couple of years. If we can't promote our sports and grow our sports and basically turn around and tell the industry and say, hey, to the GI and Vulcan and everything, and HK, guys, like you said, like get your heads out of your asses, get on point, you know, give us a good quality paint and everything, because it's ridiculous. Like, I've been shooting Killer Bees right now, and there was a conversation about how, it's the marker that's making the paint bounce. Like, it has nothing to do with the marker. It's the quality of paint. Like, I can touch I have the shells right here beside me, and they're hard as rock. And I shot a guy within 6 feet. Bounced. Shouldn't bounce. Like, it should.
No.
You know?
No, there should be no bounce on that.
Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead.
My big issue right now is that everyone is, and I know a lot of people view MagFed especially as what is wrong with the industry. But my personal view is you have to have the ability to change on the fly, essentially. Like, the industry needs to change to go with what people are wanting. So people want that more realistic feel, and because that's what airsoft brings, right? Airsoft is bringing that realistic feel, even though, you know, 200 BBs in a magazine is not realistic, but at the same time, that's what people want. Some companies in the industry are trying to do that, and a lot of the old guard, the older players, especially the tournament style players, are saying, well, that's killing the sport because paint sales have gone down. Yeah, paint sales have gone down, but paint prices have gone up.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a reason why people are going to limited ammo, because, you know, you can't afford a $120 case of paint every weekend you go out.
No.
Matt, there's places in Edmonton, like EBC, when they used to be open, like, God forbid, like, I missed that place because it had me playing with my MagFed guns and everything. I was able to play more, like, close quarter combat and stay fresh on it. But, man, you would go there, and then for a box is almost $180.
Yeah.
And then you go to Delta Force out, and I know some people watching right now that work at Delta Force that I'm friends with. I'm not gonna like me right now. Like, you're probably almost paying $200 just for the case of paint. That's not your fuel free. That's not your rental equipment. You know, and this is another thing too, where we have companies buying out all these fields like International Paintball. Man, do they ever hurt the industry when they do that.
Yeah.
So
They really do. And I remember when Delta Force, I call it Delta Farce, when Delta Farce first opened in Edmonton area, there was a page that was started on Facebook that garnered a lot of support, you know, telling players, you know, don't go there, stay away, because A, they're not gun owner friendly. They are definitely not a BYOP, and all their fields are really, really small. And even like some of the feedback I've gotten from people who've gone there for their birthday presents, birthday parties, they get fleeced. You can go to a Delta Force for, you know, $500, $600, $700 for a group of 10 kids. I'm sorry, if you can go out to Capture the Flag or even Young Guns Paintball for half that price, they're gonna choose that hands down.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, you know, let's not hide it. You know, ever like now with MagFed in the fold, where like people are not buying those cases of paint and all that. Like, I remember last year before getting my Shocker, man, I was able to run a bag of paint for a month. Like, that's 500.
Yeah.
$500 paint for a month, and then and that's what hurt the industry also is that and I don't want to trash on MagFed because I love MagFed and all that, and it's a different style. But like when these MagFed players, a lot of MagFed players came out, it was a more affordable way to play paintball. But at the same time, on the other slant was, oh wait a minute, we're not buying that $100 case of paint anymore, or that $90 case of paint anymore. Now we're just buying the one bag that can last us multiple times, and it's just pay the $10 or $20 interest fee to go in and go play and still play with the same paint you used from the weekend before, and you're getting 2 weekends out of it. So it's for that hurt us also. I think for the industry and for paint sales is that now the owners of fields need to jack up their prices a little bit to counter players that are buying less paint and not shooting as much. So at Tag, where I play in Edmonton, they have great paint prices, they have great rental prices and all that. It's a field where any type of age, any type of category or player can go play. I've seen guys jump into the t-ball arena with nothing but a TMC, and they're slinging paint, like crazy. Oh, there goes Daniel's back, and then. When you look at those kind of when you look at those kind of demographics where you're like, okay, well, we have our speedballers that we know they sling paint like crazy. That even them, I've noticed that they're getting more and more conservative on their paint also, except for when they're going to like events or practices. But when they're just out on regular walk-ons, man, I haven't seen guys shoot more in a box in a day. Sometimes they'll shoot 2 bags. That's it. 1,000 rounds. That's it.
Even out at, I remember the first year that Shooting for a Cause happened, there were guys just laying ropes. Like just 3 or 4 of them in a line laying a rope and just strafing from side to side. Year 6 is coming up. Last year I don't think I saw more than maybe 1 or 2 players willing to fork out that money.
Except for the Silver Creek guys. They went ham on everyone in the bush on the same part. Trust me, yeah, I know. I decided to be smart and lay down and let them get close to me and not see the 6 other guys beside the 1 player. Trust me. They were laying down paint that day.
Oh, yeah, the Silver Creek guys are crazy, though. Big shout out to Matty, Silver Creek boys. Fingers crossed we'll get up to Silver Creek this year, especially for Cup. I would love to do that. Field politics. I kind of saw that broken last year, speaking of Shooting for a Cause, because one of the awesome groups of players that came out came from Bragg Creek Paintball.
The Dirty Dancers.
The Dirty Dancers, and they came out.
Boys, yes.
And they had so much fun, and they really enjoyed the event. And
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I think it was we were gearing up for the 3rd game, and we were just getting ready to walk the field, and all the boys came up to me and said, "Thank you. This is the best time we've had. We didn't know your guys' play style could be so much fun. We didn't know how fast paced it was. Like, dude, 5 or 6 of them will get eliminated at once, and they come out of that kill box just fucking screaming."
They're singing and dancing.
They would force a hole right through lines. Like, they just went ham.
They did, and Emma had apparently, said, "Hey, let's send some guys to show support for Capture the Flag." And Rick from Capture the Flag, he's been out to, I think he's been to Bragg once or twice. He loves Millerville, absolutely loves playing Millerville. So I don't know. It's interesting to see. I would love to be able to sit down with all the field owners in our area, especially, and just be like, what can we do to support each other and support the industry? Because without the field starting to support themselves or support each other and the players, then we're really going to see things start falling apart. We're down. I think we've had 3 fields close, outdoor fields close in Alberta in 6 months.
Yeah.
We've seen about 10 fields in Western Canada close down in the last 2 years, and 3 of those have actually swapped over to straight airsoft.
Damn, $55 a case in one field. That's awesome price.
Damn, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I would love to get out there, but the ferry ride would kill me.
Oh yeah.
No, and see, then that's the thing with the field closures. Like there was POW out in Barhead, they closed, and they're like, well, we don't have a lot of players coming out anymore and everything. And I had talked with the owner out there, like this is last year, and this is like, and it was crazy because it was the weekend before I wanted to go. Like I messaged them, I was like, hey, what's going on and everything. Like I want to bring out some of the MagFed guys to play on my team. We want to go out there. It seems like a really nice MagFed field, and their field looked really nice. It was small, but it looked really nice. And they're like, well, we're shutting down. I'm like, well, how come? It's like, well, the player turnover has been getting worse every year. I'm like, damn, okay, well, that was kind of messed up. And that's where, at the end of this is like after after shooting for a cause last year, I'm like, all right, well, I got to start visiting other fields and start doing videos from other fields. We got, not too far from Morinville, we got SPG Paintball, which finally is not affiliated with International Paintball anymore and has an actual private owner. Which is going to be sweet because the Devil's Rejects, we're going to go out and we're going to go help and donate our time to go renovate a field and get them back up and going again and get people like, hey, let's get this going and then have another field open up, even though we lost a lot of fields last year. Excalibur Paintball, which I had the joys to go, at least get two weekends out over there. And my first weekend there, I was playing a one-on-one with this little kid. And man, it was awesome. It was fun. He beat the crap out of me all day long, but it was fun because they had good paint there, good paint quality, good paint prices. You had basic rental equipment to like expert rental equipment, which was really sweet. So if you wanted to play a little bit more aggressive, you could. One of the fields, you had two buses on both sides. Underground, it was awesome because it changes the dynamic how you play the game, and it was fun to see when I started promoting one of their last events of the season, their Scenario Cup #2, and to see that we somewhat doubled the numbers of people attending all that just by pushing the event and then really start talking about it. And I think what's the good from last year's field politics that stopped a little bit was David did help, like Reaper did help with it, having all the fields come together and be like, hey, quit the shit. You guys are all in the same business to promote a sport and everything. And it just helped people that usually just go to Young Guns to see, oh, wait a minute. Well, there's these guys and these guys and these guys. And, I did Silver Creek at the end of the year too. And then it was the zombie game that they had. It was raining that day. I had a blizzard going up to the friggin' thing, and it was an 8-on-8 game. It was a big event, 8-on-8, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's snowing. I don't want to play." And man, it was the greatest event. Like besides shooting for a cause, I don't want to take it away from them, but it was one of the greatest events that I went to because it was just a bunch of group of guys playing with the Silver Creek boys, a couple of people from SAS and that. And everyone's there is like, no, let's have fun. Let's not let the weather ruin it. The paint was good all day long. It wasn't, except for a couple of chops because I put the rain guard on my hopper. And then, it was a good event. And I think the fields need to come together. And then, Reaper hit the nail on the head when he said the fields need to come up with their scheduling and not interfere with other people's scheduling. I've seen fields, and I'm not going to mention any of the names. They know who they are. Where one field having a customer appreciation day, and another field goes and does the same thing the same weekend. I'm like, man, they announced this a month and a half ahead. Why would you go and do that to them? Like you basically stop their people that come and play the game and all that. So I think now it's when fields book events on the same dates, it's going to happen. It's impossible to have events not happen on the same weekend sometimes, but it's going to happen where fields, they need to make it that everyone can go play at different fields. But when a player, say from the Edmonton base, sees that a field that's 40 minutes out has an event going on, but then there's a field that might be a little bit better or funner for them, or they have friends in that area, they'll be like, oh, I don't want to drive out that far because I can just drive 40 minutes and go paint baseball too, and they're having an event. So then they'll pick what's the shortest distance for them instead of picking, hey, like, there's no other events this weekend, so let's play on that instead.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it really does become difficult when you have so many. Like, I know we were just saying that we've had lots of fields closed, but we have so many well-known fields in the province that host really great events, and there's only so many weekends.
So many gorgeous days in the summer.
Exactly.
Well.
Like,
I'm single, boys, because I have every weekend to myself.
I'm lucky I have a wife who definitely loves the fact that I go and play ball with my boys and have fun. But she does like some time together as well, which is understandable. I think the big thing is this year we've kind of seen. So CTF came up with their list of events already, and that was followed by Millerville because they're so close in area. And Bragg Creek, everyone already knows what Bragg Creek is going to be doing. They're going to be doing Gun Owner Day on the last Sunday of every month throughout the season.
And then
everyone
CPPL.
knows that. And CPPL, that's pretty much it. And a lot of the speedballers will be they do a lot of training and drills on Sundays, or they've got their Pizza Thursday. I think that might happen again this year as well.
Thirsty Thursday.
Yeah, Thirsty Thursday. Thank you very much, Spartan, for that. So in our area, we kind of know what's happening. Red Deer, we don't really hear much out of the field out there. I'm drawing a blank on their name, and I feel horrible. Outcast, Outcast?
Shame on
that's
you.
it.
Shame on you, Daniel.
I know. I want to say it's Outcast Paintball. Because I know they have two CPPL teams, and they do some good stuff. Silver Creek, yeah, perfect. Thank you, Gris. I was right with Outcast. Everyone kind of knows that, first week or two in April is going to be the Silver Creek Cup, so no one really books anything around that because it's not really the official opening of the season until after Silver Creek. Right now, I'm waiting to see events come from fields north of us, so we're waiting for a list of events out of Young Guns. I haven't seen anything yet on Excalibur. I haven't seen anything from Pegs Outdoor, whether they host anything or not. And then I'm seeing some things come out of BC and nothing out of Saskatchewan yet. So I really don't know what the look of the season is going to be, apart from down here in southern and central Alberta. So hopefully you're right, Ben, with everyone trying to make sure that they're not stepping on each other's toes when it comes to bigger events. Like Shooting for a Cause, there were two events. One, an event for the first 2 years or 3 year 2 and 3 that kind of stepped on their toes. But now I think everyone's kind of said, okay, well, Shooting for a Cause is a huge event. It's a great event. We'll leave that open so that everyone can go.
Yeah.
I'm really anxious to see what things are going to look like game-wise north of us. I know through Tactical Supremacy Games, we're hoping to ride the coattails of the Tittman Challenge with our Operation Gold Standard. And I know, Ragnar, you're very excited for that. And
see, and that's the thing. Like right now, like my calendar is full. Like feeling like August, September. Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but take a week off, take a month off from work because see, like for me, August I got Shooting for a Cause. I think, and then it's the second week of August, and there's the Tittman Challenge in Mirabel. So then I'm here in Alberta that weekend for the Shooting for a Cause in Cochrane, and then the weekend afterwards, on the Friday, I'm flying out. I'm gonna be booking my plane ticket pretty soon here. I'll be flying out to Montreal, and I haven't been home in 7 years. It's gonna be a special event for me, and then going up to the Tittman Challenge out of there because I've always wanted to do it and all that. There's
out of Mirabel.
There's Operation Gold Standard, but then it falls with the Tittman Challenge at YGP too at the same time. So, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be. Man, we're like our team. We're already talking about, with the Devil Rejects. We're already talking about rotating guys for the game, because if we're going to do the attempt for the longest game in the world for paintball. Well, man, we need some fresh bodies to go sleep.
Yeah, you got.
Well, you guys will love this. We've decided to cut it down from 48 hours. So this is just a heads up for everyone. We are cutting it from 48 hours. We're going to max out at 30. So we're cutting 18 hours off, and that I think will excite a lot of people. And I know it's excited Brandon over at Young Guns because he's like, okay, this is a little more doable.
Man, 40 hours would have been doable. You just like put a case of Red Bull at every spawn point. Yeah, just start done things now. But that's the thing. So Excalibur was announced last year that the Devil's Redux are going to be their first official Woodsball team, which was exciting news for our team last year when that came out. At the same time, too, we get a lot of support from PAG and a lot. We get a lot of support by Silver Creek and everything. And I think it's I think it's up to the players. As much as we can blame the GI Sports and Balkan and all of them, but it's up to us too also to make these events what they are and better, and players can start going out more and all that. I know Daniel last year took a lot of heat because
man, you took your licks last year, man.
Hey, apparently I like taking licks because I went after it again this year.
Yes, you did.
I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, you guys all say you're for the sport, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay, never mind. I'm just going to leave this lie. And Ben, you definitely, you had it right in the way you described it.
Who?
Well, okay, so whoever didn't follow that feed from Reaper, so Reaper made an announcement to all the games he's going to be playing. So, yes, unfortunately, the East Coast gets a little bit more attention. We're not going to lie. I'm not trying to downsize the Western Canada, but the East Coast has always been, to my eyes, the mecca of paintball of Canada. They have awesome fields out there. Their fields are huge. When Paintball Mirabel can... 2 seconds. Salut les gars à Mirabel, je suis content de vous parler de vous autres. So, the guys out there, man, when you can hold up to 2,500 players on your field, you have the biggest field in North America, where's Reaper going to go, at the end of the day? Shooting for a cause is not up in the air for Reaper, by the way, so little secret on that one. So he might be showing up for shooting for a cause. We're working really hard from our team, our side, to get him to come out.
'Cause I know Rick invited him last year and asked him to be 2IC for the second team.
Your team, Ben.
Yeah, your team, Ben.
Yeah, because I don't think he likes getting limmed up by me, because I had my shocker at the challenge, and he came out running in the woods. I'm like, I yelled at everyone on the fence, just slide him up!
Oh my god. I would pay to see him get lit up. I hate to say it. I mean, I've been following Reaper for about 5 or 6 years now, and he really is a good guy. He really is. And I can't even fault him for everything that has kind of happened with how his show I believe his show got canceled. He stopped doing his show because he used to do an on-air call-in show, and I would listen to it religiously. I think
he's on this week.
I think what's happened with him is Tippmann has basically said, "You're going to do what we tell you to do," kind of thing, and he loves the sport too much to say, "I want to do this because it's in the best interest of the sport." That's my personal view. Like, he really is a good guy, but unfortunately the sponsored players kind of have to go where they're told to go, and they have to put on a good show for their sponsors.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, well if you look at that sample, so when he came out with the schedule and a lot, and then,
sponsored players
I had mentioned
kind of have to go where they're told to go,
need celebrities
and they have to
are sponsoring and promoting our sport and everything. It's really up to us as players. But at the same time, too, I was able to sit down with Louis from GI and a lot, which is really awesome because I got to spend a whole weekend speaking in French, which is I rarely get to do nowadays. And I got to talk to him, and he was like going over the logistics. And I was talking with Tom too, and like I was talking with both of them about how much it costs. And that's the other side. So I'm going to defend Reaper a little bit here on this subject.
Yeah, no worries.
A lot of us don't understand how much it costs for GI to come out here to have crates sent out with their tents and their gear and everything else, because it's not every field that has tents for them and it has their logos and everything. So they got to send out that gear, because when they were done with Tippmann Challenge here at YGP in Stony Plain, well, the day after they were sending out their gear down south to another event. So it's it becomes really costly when it's it's more than a couple of grand. It's like they're in the double digits when they have to send out their stuff. Then they're looking at other stuff where they got to play they got to get their guy out. They got to pay for his paint ticket, and then it's the same thing where Tom was talking to me about too, about how much it costs for him to come out to an event. So where Tom is still going to be coming out to paintball events, from what I heard the last time I talked to him, that he's going to still come out and promote some events, but he's going to be picking and choosing when he's picking his events to come out, because he's going to be more focused on airsoft. So I think a lot of us players forget to understand that on the other side, yeah, they're not going to show up, but also we need to understand their costs towards coming out to our events and everything, and just to put their name out there, which I know they make a ton of money. Not like these guys are still in business because they're making good money, but at the same time too, I think we gotta still understand our sponsor players. It costs a lot of money for them also. Like I was talking to Reaper, like it's good to have sponsorships, but some of the stuff is out of his pocket too at the same time. Like I think he made a post a couple of days ago about the Vegas tournament at NXL in Vegas, where he's like, hey, does someone want to split a room with me? So when you see posts like that,
yeah.
Or not, you still got to pay for your hotel and your food and everything else, and that's why I applaud for Reaper. He doesn't go out. Like he said, he's a cheap date. He's going to grab the cheapest hotel, the cheapest food. He buried he's not going to go through bags and bags of paint where he's running 2 Tipexes. He'll probably go through a bag of paint, and then it's pretty sweet.
I just want to touch on what Mr. Tom Palmer had said just earlier on there about fields should run leagues and tournaments, and if there is unity, they should have the manufacturers gear. The issue with running any kind of tournament is you have to have the staffing for that. And a lot of fields don't have the staffing for that because they can't afford to pay the staff. That's what I'm viewing down here anyway. Like, obviously, if other teams and other players are willing to ref those games, then that's fine. But then everyone has to understand those players are not trained refs. Like, especially if you're looking at a speedball style tournament, there's different rules. If you're looking at limited ammo, there's different rules. What we're trying to do with the tactical squad games, basically just a 3-on-3, very fun, very cheap. For everyone who's listening, if you're interested, it's $20 this year. $20 gets you in plus the cost of paint. It's at Bragg Creek. We're changing it up a bit to try and grow it a bit more. And Megan, your friend Megan has a good point. It is commitment. So you can have X amount of teams say, yeah, we'll be there, and then the day of, you've got all this paint. You didn't ask them to pay in advance, and then the field is in the hole because they had only like 5 teams instead of 20 show up.
Oh yeah, that happened at Tippmann Challenge during the Saturday event when they had the speedball event. It happened. There's barely any teams because a bunch of teams said, yeah, we're going to show up, And then, I ended up jogging through, like, being a sub for another team, too, at the same time. And then it was the same thing for us. Like, we had players from other teams come sub for us when we were doing the beginners level tournament. And it was really scary to see that, in the beginners seed, there was only like 5 teams, and then after that, in the open, there was like probably 7 or 8 teams. So you're like, what does that say about the industry? Is it because we don't have enough players in the area? Is it because there's no interest?
I think what we've seen, especially in CPPL, is we've basically seen Div 4 eliminated. You're basically starting Div 3 because there are so many teams in Div 3 because no one wants to move up to Div 2 or Div 1. I think there's 4 or 6 teams in Div 1, 6 teams in Div 2, and about 30 teams in Div 3. So it's not that the interest isn't there. I think it's because it's not an actual, like, there's no chance at prizes or, you know, your sponsors aren't helping out with anything or doing anything in regards to a lot of stuff, then they don't want to come out. Like, when I first tried the tactical squad games, I had 4 teams show up, which was great for a first year. Last year it didn't happen because no one wanted to go, and this year I think we're at 1 team so far. And it's just because we're trying to do something different. There is nothing for MagFed. There's nothing for mechanical. There's nothing for limited ammo. There's nothing for those weekend warriors who don't want to, you know, fork out $700 or $800 to get into a CPPL event.
Like my roommate, well, you guys haven't met him, but he'll be there for this year's shooting for a cause. Sheldon McConnell. He's amazing. He's amazing at coming up with scenarios and all. He came up with this amazing Bambitos scenario that we're going to pitch to Excalibur Paintball. And now this other thing too, he's been kind of like talking about like what you're doing out in Bragg Creek with the 3-on-3s. Well, we want to do something up here up north too, where we're going to have like MagFed tournaments where it's limited ammo only. MagFed, and it's limited ammo. You can be using a pump gun, a mechanical gun, just as long as your hopper is here. This is your set limit. And it's going to be the same thing for the MagFed guys. So you can't carry more than say 200 rounds on you per game. There you go. Go out, and then you got to figure it out.
Oh, shit.
That's one of the issues using your cell phone there, Spartan.
Yeah, we're having a serious conversation. Spartan's like this. Look at my nostrils. So, So we're at that point where we've got to create new things now. YGP has their events, and a lot of their events are similar. This year was really cool because, they had the tank game, which was really fun. It was fun to do. It was a different style of play. It got people to spend a lot of money because the only way you're taking apart those tanks is, one, shooting a square box on the one side. So you had to shoot a lot of paint to get to it. And that, or putting 2 smoke grenades inside the tank, or putting a grenade inside the tank. So then people are buying smoke grenades, people are buying grenades, the paint grenades, and then people are buying a ton of paint to get these targets out of the way. So it's coming up with new, different styles of tournaments and all that, different styles of big games also that I think is going to help us a lot. I was fortunate enough 2 years ago to go visit Bragg Creek, and I had an awesome time out there. Man, this is when I was still part of SAS, and I drove up. I was in Calgary. My girlfriend at the time had a hairstylist show convention at one of the hotels. So I was like, well, I'm bringing my paintball gear. I'm going to play paintball. Because I was sitting at a convention listening to women talk about, oh my God, look at those hair extensions. So amazing. No, I was not doing that. And I'm walking out of the hotel with my rifle bag and my paintball gear on. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to shoot some people. And I had the most amazing time because then Ryan from SAS Pod, is his call sign Taco?
Yeah,
Dr. Taco.
Dr. Taco, yeah. So then I got to play with him out there, and it just happened that he was playing that day. And then Graham was out there, so it was a fun time. And it was just awesome to play at a different field, a different style, different layouts, and it was really sweet. So, for what goes for fields, I think everyone needs to start visiting the different fields because, man, I've been playing out YGP for 3 years. I know the ins and outs of that field. I can sneak up on people easily now, and there's no challenge. So when I got to go visit Excalibur this year, wow, Yeah, no, I was getting shot out left, right, and center within seconds because I didn't know the angles, I didn't know how the field would play, I didn't know how players were going to be aggressive during the games. So it made a more exciting end of the year for me because I started visiting the different fields, and the same thing for Silver Creek. I was amazed by Silver Creek's field. It was really awesome. You know, parts of the game where you're defending 3 houses with the computers in it and all that, and they're double stacked houses. I'm like, yeah, nope. Don't want to post notes out of those first strikes coming out the window.
I think this year, I like we ourselves here at Western Canada, we definitely want to hit a lot of fields up. We've got to get out to Millerville again. Brian runs great events out there. I'd love to get down to Preppers at Skyline Nation. Obviously, we're planning Operation Gold Standard for Young Guns. Ragnar, you have told me so much about Excalibur that I want to get in my car and drive the 6 or 7 hours it'll take me to get there. Because I remember passing it one year when I was on the way up to Grand Prairie, I think it was, and it looks insane. It looks crazy over there.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Like I remember when I went there the first weekend, and I met Mitzi finally like face to face, and then she had me run through the field with one of her refs. I did a live feed with the kid I was playing with, Carson. It was really fun. And then did you guys see what Tom wrote? Tom will feed us. He'll lodge us and pay for a paint. We go to Island United.
What?
Wow, yeah, that's right. Go read, boys. Oh,
okay,
yeah,
Tom,
yeah.
you've got probably about 60 players who are going to be coming out. Hope you can feed us all. We eat like horses.
I hope so.
Guys, I gotta watch what I'm saying now. My team captain's on. Watch.
What's happening, Chase?
Hey, Chase!
Sorry, say anything bad. No pipe bombs today.
No,
buddy. Excalibur was an amazing time for the 2 times I got out to go out, and like next year I'll be going out way more. And then I was talking with my roommate, we're gonna be, I'll do that 1 hour and a half drive, an hour drive to go up to a field that blew my mind when I got there. Just their fortress is huge. It's huge.
Oh, Tom says no, just field owners. Damn it!
Yeah, Mitzi, that's her name. Mitzi Mitz. Excalibur Paintball. Gotta give a little shout out. Mitzi!
I sent Mitzi a message last year after you told me about how awesome their event was. And unfortunately, I haven't heard back from her yet. So if you could put us in touch with her, that'd be great, because I would love to feature her and her field on one of our shows.
I can definitely do that.
I know for sure this year when we go out, I do want to interview field owners and regular players and players who've never been to that field before, and just show the world, show everyone what we have in our area. Because I think you're accurate in saying that a lot of players, they don't want to put the drive time in. But when you're not willing to put the drive time in, you're missing out on some amazing locations. Everyone from the Edmonton area and north who doesn't want to go to Skyline because of how far away it is and how remote it is, you've got to go. You will never play at a field like that ever again in your life after you've been there once. It is an experience that you cannot duplicate.
You can't even necessarily call it a field.
Well, it's 6,000 acres of foothills.
Well, there you go. It's not just one field. It's everything.
You get transported in the back of a horse trailer to your drop point, and then you walk everywhere from there. It is incredible.
Hey, Tom, when you say when a field's far away, there ain't no excuse, because I've driven 5 hours to go to the field. No problem. Last year I just ran out of time of what events I was able to go to. And that's the thing. I want to hit up Saskatchewan too with their fields. I want to try to make a trip out to BC. So, man, if you really want to hit, if you even just hit one field, just one field that's out of your province or out of the way, just that is like it'll change your way of seeing. Think 5 hours. I got 14. Yeah, like well, Heather and Grant come down a lot, like from Grand Prairie to.
They do. They come down here from Grand Prairie. I think Heather said it's about a 12-hour drive.
Yeah, so that's the thing. And like, I'm not saying bring your podcast to Island United.
Oh, bring your podcast to Island United.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll show up in the
no
summer.
problem.
No problem. We were trying to plan a trip into BC this year anyway. How that will go, I don't know, since my future endeavors are still kind of up in the air with how things go at the Calgary Fire Department. But they're slowly trucking along, for everyone who's maybe wondering. Fingers crossed. I have the summer to myself and not training, because then I probably won't be doing any paintball at all, which will be a sad time. But that's neither here nor there. So we've covered the politics in the companies. We've covered politics with the fields.
Let's talk about the players.
Let's talk about the players and the teams. And Ben, I know you're super excited about this because unfortunately here in Alberta especially, we have several players that love to butt heads, several teams that like to butt heads, but at the same time, at the end of the day, and this is where I'm going to do a huge shout out to the Rejects. You guys are absolutely awesome to play with. And yes, there's always that friendly, friendly banter, I guess you could say,
always.
Like the friendly shenanigans. We love smack talking each other, but at the end of the day, at the end of the game, we'll still go and have beers with each other, and we're still good friends. Like hell, I don't know how many people I have from different teams on my friends list, and I love talking to them and getting their perspective on things.
Shit, who's going first on the politics for players?
Go ahead. Hey, look. Hey, Taco's online.
Tacos on!
Taco!
Ryan finally shows up.
Ryan, you missed your shout out. Ragnor
Okay,
gave you a shout out like 5 minutes ago. 10 minutes
He's a little
ago.
old. He's slow.
Yeah, he is old. He's an old man now.
He's slow. It takes him a little longer to get everything going. You know.
I'm gonna be 35 in a month, man. I ain't. I know, right?
I'm gonna be
I know,
33
right?
this
Actually,
year.
last weekend, funny story.
I'm the baby. I'm only
Last
31.
weekend, I was playing at PAG and I was playing against this kid, and I'm moving around, doing my thing and all that, and then I was just owning Snake, which is for a guy my age going at the Snake position is really not easy, especially when the ground's not that soft. And the guy comes and sees me on the sidelines after we play point, and he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "You're really athletic and all that." He's like, "You move around a lot." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Thanks, man. That's like really nice for you to say." He's like, "How old are you?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, I'm going to be 35 in a month." He's like, "Damn, you're really athletic for an old guy." Oh, what?
So, Ragnar, I'm going to give you the floor. Let's let you have first dibs on player politics, and go.
So we all know what happened with me last year. For those who didn't know, I went from one team to another. Everyone knows that I left the SAS team after playing for them for 2 years. I think I was in crossroads in my life at that point, and a lot of people. I got a lot of heat for leaving the team and going towards another team. You know, God bless their soul. Like SAS, when I was with them, they helped me a lot. They still do. Like some of my members are still like close friends. Ryan and Colin from the northern team and all that. I got Jesse and Capri that are awesome. I remember Jesse last year, not last year, but the year before that, at the end of the season, put a Wander poster out for me. He's like dead or alive, which is funny because I think Jesse's become my arch nemesis on field. Because he's always trying to mercy me, and it just never ends up happening. So, and it gets scary because when you have both cozies coming at you, and especially when it's Capri, man, it's not
She's
fun.
a tank.
She challenged me to an arm wrestling competition. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want to do it. So, you know, in all seriousness, I took a lot of heat last year. And you know, it created a lot of politics in between teams and everything. And I was the center of attention. You know, I had a lot of teams poach me when I went to the Devils Rejects. You know, I love more their play style and their aggressiveness on the field. And then so that's what got me attracted to go play with them. And a good group of guys. So for those who don't know who Matt Odell and Stewie are, they're two amazing players. There's two guys I connected with really well on that team. Chase and his brother Ben are amazing captains. Matt Odell's a captain also. And it was just, I got welcomed with welcome arms. But, you can feel the heat on the field that when you're getting out there on the field, and then players that just not happy with you leaving. And I think it shocked a lot of players the first big game of the season at YGP when they saw me with a Devil's Reject patch on. They're like, what's going on here? It's like we thought Ben was going to be a forever SAS player. And, there was animosity. I won't name names. A lot of players weren't happy about me leaving, and it is what it is. It's good now. It's fine now because I shot them with the first strike in the head, and it just solved the problem.
Yeah, we forgive you.
Yeah.
So, we all know what was the Shooting for a Cause politics also that came out of it.
Oof, that year was bad, man.
That was a rough year.
That was bad, man. That was horrible. So we all know that at the end of the day, we're all players. We're all supposed to be a family. We're supposed to be brothers and sisters. So no matter what team you're playing for, whatever. It's man, don't hate on someone because they decide to change team and go play with another team that they mesh better with, like playstyle wise. So, it gets out of hand because now you're looking at the politics between speedballers and MagFed, and then where speedballers are calling MagFed elitists and all that. I'm like, no, we're just MagFed guys. We're just like limited ammo. We're
cheap.
We're cheap. Yeah.
We're not afraid to admit it. We're not afraid to admit it.
So, and then that's what the animosity is becoming like. And then, I really, I'm trying not to take the heat for certain things sometimes and try to watch what I'm saying. But, when I hear speedballers, make fun of MagFed guys, I'm like, no, they're just, they get the job done with less shots. You guys are really good when it comes to suppressing fire and moving around quicker. You have less gear, you're faster, you're quicker. Your guns are a little bit more accurate when you're shooting round ball. First strike, we all know who wins that fight. But it got really bad last year where you're seeing speedballers just wrecking guys on, Shooting for a Cause 4 was probably when I first did my first Shooting for a Cause. I think that was the worst year between the MagFed and the speedballers because it was just a gong show war in between. We're out to injure people, and that's what happened to me. Where there's a group of speedballers were out to injure me. I'm like, man, why? Well, what's the point? So that doesn't help the sport either. Where you go to fields, and I got called out on it last weekend, and they were right to call me out on it because I got a little bit hot-headed because we're talking about bounces. 6 feet away, I get the guy clean play. He had nowhere to go. Didn't even know it was there. Called the shot a bounce 6 feet away. I'm like, man, I had you dead right. So I got kind of pissed about it. But then afterwards, I went and shook his hand. I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm not that kind of guy that's going to shoot and spray like crazy from 6 feet away. Even if I have the same kind of gun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember the game that year, that Shooting for a Cause, where you went down.
Yeah.
So do I
think Spartan and I were some of the first people there to shield you.
Yeah.
And as we were administering water, because you were suffering from severe dehydration, I think, and heat stroke, as well as a couple rounds to the head, they were still potting shots at us. As we have a wall in front of you so that we can get you hydrated and off the field. At the end of the day, and I think Tom said it best, paintball has so many genres. Leave it at that. We all play the same freaking sport. We're all paintballers. It doesn't matter if we play MagFed. Doesn't matter if we have tack caps for a pump. Doesn't matter if we use gravity-fed hoppers for 98 mechanic. Doesn't matter if you've got a $2,000 PE marker with a $300, dye hopper. At the end of the day, we all do the same thing. We all play the same sport. My view on the politics between players and teams is, unfortunately, it does happen, and unfortunately, in Alberta, because we've got so many well-known teams, The politics that has kind of popped up is definitely an unwelcome thing, but it's there. It's something we have to acknowledge that's there. But at the same time, like as we are proof of, like you play for a different team. That doesn't matter. You're still our buddy. We still have you on the show. We still love playing with you. And at the end of the day, we're still family. That's the main thing.
Yeah, Ryan. It was brutal. That year.
Yeah.
I was so happy because like shooting for a cause last year was like it was my redemption game. It was an awesome time out, man. I remember. I won't get into the specifics of the situation. I remember in the bush at one point, man, there was a yelling match at one point, and then that's where I got lit up by Silver Creek because I decided to be smart and try and mercy a guy right beside 6 other people. And at one point, I just went up to everyone. I started giving them hugs, and it was awesome to see the Silver Creek boys, and shout out to them again, man, because they were really the benchmark of sportsmanship last year where they went around and started shaking hands with everyone without exception before the third part and be like, hey, yeah, good game, let's have fun in the next 3 and like let's remember why we're here.
Yeah.
And I think what happened the year prior when I think everyone forgot why they were there and the animosity between teams got really high really quick, which really sucked.
I think once we realize that, you know, when we're on the field, yes, we play for different patches. We do play for different teams, who a lot of us consider our immediate family, so to speak, in the industry. But at the end of the day, when you realize, like at the end of the game, if you can walk up to a guy on the opposing team and shake their hand and say, hey, man, that was awesome, or if they get you out in a really good bunker or they mercy you, don't get pissed off by it. Say, holy, that was awesome, well done, and just go out and play hard the next time. Playing to hurt someone should never be okay. Is never okay. If you're out there, you know, if you crony at 295, you leave your marker at 295. I don't care if you want to take your L key onto the field and bump that up to over 300. The moment you do that, I have no respect for you, and you do not belong on that field or on any team.
Nope.
I don't know any team captain or any team organization that will condone that kind of behavior. No one does, because that ruins the day for everyone.
Oh yeah, we got on our team for cheating.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a very touchy subject with a lot of people, but at the end of the day, when you realize it, you know, we are all paintballers. We are all part of the same team, and that is, we play the same sport. Yes, we have different patches. With SAS, there's the SoCal guys. There's guys in Tennessee. There's guys in France. There's guys in Romania. There's guys in Australia. There's guys in UK. There's the Alberta guys. We've got Northern Chapter, Southern Chapter. We don't view teams that aren't, or players that aren't SAS to be inferior. And I know the rejects don't do that either.
Sorry, Chief, but I have to show this. I am the only guy in Canada that has a France patch.
Oh! Hold on.
Wait. I'm the only guy in Alberta that probably has one of these.
Ooh.
The German one. Yeah, and you've got a Norway one coming too soon, don't you?
Hopefully soon, yes.
Hey, mine's but get here.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's just the camaraderie about it needs to be first and foremost.
Oh, exactly. And you guys were talking definitely about how shooting for a cause 2 years ago as to last year was different. And I can attribute a lot of it not just to myself, but my players coming up to me and saying, "Hey, this is what's wrong. I approached your team general." And it was just that thing that Alex and I had. If there was an issue, it didn't matter if it was in the middle of the game or after the game, it was addressed.
Communication was absolutely incredible last year. I was very much in awe with how last year's event went down. And if every big game or every game can go down like that, where two sides who are completely at odds with each other as they were the year before can get together and say, hey, let's bury the hatchet and let's do this the right way. If that can happen every game, perfect. The sport will thrive. And we'll have so many more people looking at it and going, hey, I like the sounds of that. Let's go try it.
Yeah.
Hey, my shooting for a cause was awesome because my general was French. And listen to this.
Damn it, Alex!
Wait a minute. This is a lot of people don't know. Me and Alex figured this out. Actually, Alex figured it out. Alex is from a little small town called Chateauguay, Quebec. Well, goddamn, I'm from Chateauguay, Quebec too. Now, funny story. When I was a younger little man, my last name wasn't Ste-Croix. Alex pinpointed who my brothers were. He used to hang out with my older brothers back in Chateauguay, Quebec. So this mofo, I know him for a long time. I just didn't know I knew him at the game. Because Alex, when he did his speech at the beginning of the game, he's like, "Who's gonna follow this crazy guy up to the field with his pistol and his eye?" What a lot of people didn't know is I was stuck on that bus for 25 minutes with my pistol down, and it didn't work. And then when
You really were, yeah.
Absolutely.
Tom thinks we're having too much fun.
Well, yeah, that's what we do.
Absolutely, that's what we do.
There was episodes where they're R-rated. There's so much fun.
There were episodes where I wasn't really talking because we couldn't get a word in edgewise.
The Command Bros.
The Command Bros episode was that was just insane. That was awesome. Oh my gosh, we've got to have them back on again. But guys, it has been awesome having everyone's input,
Yes,
and
we have reached
Ben,
that time.
Ben, it's been awesome having you on, brother. We're going to have to have you on again. We are going to have you on again. And Chase, if you're still watching, I spoke to you on the phone. I would love to have you on as well. Maybe you and Ben could, be co-hosts for one episode. Maybe when we're coming up to Edmonton
on
one
the same
time.
podcast? I don't know. It's going to get. The guy from the States, me and Chase on the same thing. I don't know. We might have to warn everyone that's it's not going to be a PG kind of thing.
Well, we'll just make sure that we put a rated R on there. So we did go longer tonight just because, we were having great conversation, great viewership, and everyone was engaged. So thank you guys for that. We can't do the show without your guys' support. So Tom, Joe, Pepper, you came on late, you silly banana. But you came on anyway. The only person we were missing was Heather and some of the others who are regulars. But thank you guys very much, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Later. Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing Lambo anytime